Have you ever felt a quiet dread when someone brings up nursing homes? You're not alone. For millions of Americans over 65, the idea of moving into one stirs up a mix of fear, sadness, and even guilt. It can feel like the final chapter of your life is being written by someone else, before you're ready to turn the page. But what if I told you there's a better way? In today's video, we're going to explore 7 alternatives to nursing homes, real practical solutions that many older adults across the US are already choosing. These aren't just nice ideas or far-off dreams. They are viable options that allow you to age with independence, dignity, and joy on your own terms. Now, this isn't about denying the realities of aging. It's about redefining what aging well can look like. Because growing older doesn't mean giving up control. It means finding new ways to keep living with purpose, connection, and comfort. So whether you're planning for yourself or helping a loved one, stick around. What we cover today might change how you view the future and give you more confidence to shape it. In fact, some of these options may surprise you. They blend modern technology, strong family ties, and creative community models in ways that respect who you are and what you still have to offer. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and stay with us until the end. Because this conversation just might give you something most people lose when they think about aging: hope. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, because your journey to empowered aging starts right here. 1. Staying in your own home with a little help right where you are. There's something deeply grounding about being in your own home. The familiar creak in the floor, the smell of your favorite chair, the memories etched into every wall. For many older adults, the thought of leaving all that behind just to receive care feels like more of a loss than a solution. But here's the good news. You don't have to leave. More and more Americans over 65 are choosing to age in place with the support of in-home care services. This option isn't just about convenience. It's about maintaining a sense of identity, safety, and control over your life. Whether it's help with preparing meals, light housekeeping, or more personal support like bathing or managing medication, these services are designed to meet your needs on your schedule. And the best part, it's flexible. You might only need someone to drop by a few times a week today, and maybe a bit more as time goes on. That freedom to adjust as you go is part of what makes in-home care so empowering. Beyond the logistics, the emotional impact is powerful. Studies consistently show that seniors who remain in their own homes report lower levels of depression, better memory retention, and even stronger immune function. Why? Because being at home means staying connected to the rhythms and routines that make you feel like you. Take a moment to imagine this. You wake up in your own bed, make coffee in your kitchen, and water the plants you've cared for every season. You're not giving up your independence. You're reinforcing it with just the right amount of support. So if the idea of a nursing facility doesn't sit right with you, maybe the solution is simpler than you thought. Maybe home, with the right help, is exactly where you belong. 2. Living with family without losing yourself. For many older Americans, the idea of moving in with adult children brings mixed emotions. There's the comfort of being near loved ones, sure, but also a fear of becoming a burden or losing independence. Yet when done thoughtfully, living with family can be one of the most rewarding, dignified alternatives to nursing homes. This isn't about reverting to old roles or feeling like you're in the way. It's about creating a two-way street, one where support flows in both directions, grandparents helping with grandkids, sharing stories around the dinner table, or simply being that steady, calming presence in a busy household can bring real purpose and connection. The key, though, is structure. Successful multi-generational living hinges on clear expectations and healthy boundaries. Do you have your own space, your own routine? Do both generations respect one another's time and privacy? These aren't small questions. They're what turn a living arrangement into a thriving relationship. And it's not just about emotions. It makes sense financially, too. Shared housing can lower costs on both sides. Utilities, groceries, and even certain tax benefits can ease the pressure many families face today. But perhaps most importantly, this kind of setup brings back what so many nursing facilities can't: belonging. You're not surrounded by strangers. You're part of daily life again. The laughter, the conversations, the simple joys of being home, they matter. Think of James, an 81-year-old widower who moved into a converted in-law suite above his daughter's garage. He has his own entrance, his own schedule, and yet he gets to have dinner with family when he wants and cheer on his grandson at Little League. That balance of independence and connection, it changed everything for him. Living with family doesn't mean giving up control. It means redefining what support looks like. And in the right setting, it just might bring you closer to the kind of life you still want to lead. 3. Staying home but smarter, safer, and designed for you. For many older adults, the idea of moving out isn't just unappealing, it feels unnecessary. You already have the perfect place, your home. The memories, the comfort, the routines, they're part of who you are. But what if that same home could be adjusted just slightly to meet your changing needs? That's where smart home modifications come in. And no, we're not talking about a full remodel or turning your house upside down. Often it's the small changes that make the biggest difference. Installing grab bars in the bathroom, swapping rugs for non-slip flooring, adding brighter lights in stairways. These are low-cost upgrades that can significantly reduce fall risk. Wider doorways, lever-style handles instead of knobs, or even a walk-in shower can make daily life easier without compromising style or comfort. But there's more. Today's aging-in-place movement embraces technology not to replace your independence, but to reinforce it. Smart thermostats can adjust room temperature without you lifting a finger. Motion sensor lights turn on automatically during nighttime trips to the bathroom, and voice assistants like Alexa or Google Home can help you set medication reminders, play your favorite music, or call for help if needed. Take Linda, for example. After a fall, she reluctantly installed a stair lift and a few other upgrades. At first, she felt like she was giving in to age. But within a month, she told her daughter, "I feel more free now than I have in years." She wasn't being watched. She was finally moving through her space without worry. Aging in place doesn't mean resisting change. It means embracing it smartly so you can keep living the life you love right where it began. So before you think about leaving home, consider reshaping it to fit you, not the other way around. A few smart changes today can protect your independence for years to come. 4. Multi-generational living built on boundaries and respect. The idea of multiple generations living under one roof isn't new. It's how many American families used to thrive. But today's version looks a bit different. It's not about giving up space or becoming the default babysitter. It's about crafting a living arrangement that honors everyone's independence while strengthening bonds that often get lost in modern life. When done right, multi-generational living can be deeply enriching. For older adults, it brings a daily sense of connection and purpose. For younger generations, it offers emotional support, wisdom, and that calming presence only a grandparent can bring. But, and this is crucial, it all hinges on one thing: clear boundaries. Let's be honest. No matter how much you love your family, too much togetherness without structure can lead to frustration. That's why the most successful setups begin with open conversations. What's private space? What's shared? Who's responsible for what? Even things like quiet hours or how meals are handled make a difference. Think of it less like moving in with the kids and more like co-living. You're not being taken care of. You're participating in a shared lifestyle with your own rhythm and role. Mary, 83, moved in with her daughter and son-in-law, but not into their guest room. Instead, they built a small suite with its own entrance and kitchenette. She joins family dinners when she chooses, keeps her own routine, and even has her own Netflix account. She says she feels connected, but never crowded. This kind of arrangement isn't about tradition, it's about evolution. It's about making space for each other in ways that feel right, not forced. And for many older adults, it's a way to stay grounded in family without losing autonomy. Because at the end of the day, aging well isn't just about where you live, it's about how you live with the people who matter most. 5. Independent living communities. Freedom first, support when you need it. Not everyone wants to stay at home forever, and that's okay. For some older adults, the right move isn't about staying put, but about finding a place where life can feel full again. That's where independent living communities come in. These aren't nursing homes. They're not even assisted living facilities in the traditional sense. Instead, they're vibrant, low-maintenance communities where you can live in your own apartment or cottage, take care of yourself, and tap into help only when you choose to. You cook your own meals or don't. Maybe you attend the weekly book club, or maybe you prefer to garden in peace. The point is, you decide. The support is there if you want it. Transportation, light housekeeping, medical assistance. But no one's hovering or micromanaging your day. What makes these communities so appealing, especially to Americans 65 and older, is the perfect balance they strike between autonomy and security. You're still in control, but there's a safety net just in case. And let's talk about the one thing we don't say enough. Loneliness hurts. It chips away at joy, memory, even your immune system. Living around peers, people who've lived, lost, laughed, and learned like you have, can restore that missing connection. These communities aren't one-size-fits-all either. Some are wellness-focused, others are built around lifelong learning, creativity, or the arts. Want access to walking trails and yoga classes? There's a community for that. Prefer film nights and woodworking? There's one for that too. Take Ron, 78. After his wife passed and the house felt too quiet, he moved into a community with shared meals and a woodworking studio. He told us, "I haven't felt this alive since my 40s. Independent living communities don't ask you to give up your freedom. They invite you to expand it, with support nearby and a sense of community that turns each day into something to look forward to." 6. Aging in place with smart technology that has your back. There's something deeply comforting about staying in the home you've built a life in. The photos on the wall, the familiar armchair by the window, the kitchen that knows your hands. But for many older adults, the concern is always the same. What if something happens and no one's around? That's where smart home technology steps in, not to replace your independence, but to protect it. Today's tech isn't about fancy gadgets or complicated setups. It's about simple tools that quietly keep you safe, connected, and confident in your own space. Think motion sensors that gently light your path at night so there's no stumbling in the dark, or voice-activated assistants that can remind you when it's time to take your medication, or even call for help if needed. One of the biggest breakthroughs? Fall detection systems. No more bulky necklaces with emergency buttons. Now discrete sensors can detect if you've taken a fall and automatically alert your loved ones or emergency responders without you lifting a finger. And it doesn't stop there. Smart thermostats ensure your home stays comfortable. Fridges can now send gentle reminders about expiring food. Even doorbells with video capability let you see who's at the door without getting up or without opening it. Harold, 81, lives alone and was nervous about it. But after his son helped him install a smart hub, a medical alert watch, and a few motion sensors, Harold didn't feel monitored. He felt respected. "It's like I've got a silent safety net," he said, "but I'm still the one in control." That's what aging in place with smart tech is really about. It's not giving into age, it's leaning into possibility. You stay in your home, surrounded by what matters, while the technology quietly works in the background to keep you safe. Because sometimes the best kind of support isn't loud. It's invisible, dependable, and there exactly when you need it. 7. Intergenerational communities, where every generation belongs. Imagine living in a neighborhood where your next-door neighbor might be a young teacher, a college student, or a single parent, and where your presence is valued, not just tolerated. That's the heart of intergenerational living communities. Places designed not to separate generations, but to bring them together in meaningful, everyday life. For older adults, this can be a powerful antidote to isolation. Instead of being surrounded only by people your age, or, worse, living alone in silence, you become part of a vibrant environment that mirrors real life, full of different ages, backgrounds, and perspectives. And the benefit is mutual. You bring wisdom, life experience, and stability. They bring energy, fresh conversation, and, let's be honest, a few good tech tips when you need them. It's not about charity or being taken care of. It's about mutual exchange. Take Joan, 76, who moved into a community in Oregon where high school students live in nearby dorm-style housing. Every Thursday, she leads a poetry circle. In return, students help her with grocery runs, smartphone settings, and introduce her to music she'd never discover on her own. "I feel alive again," she said, "like I matter." These communities are thoughtfully built with shared spaces that encourage connection. Gardens, libraries, art rooms, and walking trails. It's organic, not forced. You're not assigned a social calendar. You live your life, but in a setting where interaction happens naturally. Research backs it up. Older adults in intergenerational settings often show slower cognitive decline and better emotional well-being. And young people exposed to elders report increased empathy and stronger social skills. Everyone wins. In a culture where aging can sometimes feel like disappearing, intergenerational living invites you to reappear, visible, respected, and engaged. Because staying connected to life doesn't always mean staying in your own lane. Sometimes it means sharing the road and realizing how much richer the journey can be. So here's the truth. Growing older doesn't have to mean giving up control, dignity, or the life you've worked so hard to build. What we've explored today are not just alternatives to nursing homes. They're reflections of a bigger shift in how aging is being reimagined across America. Whether it's staying in your home with a little help, downsizing to an independent living community, or choosing to live alongside younger generations in a vibrant intergenerational neighborhood, there are options, real ones that respect your independence, honor your story, and give you space to keep living life on your terms. The future doesn't have to look like fluorescent hallways and scheduled mealtimes. It can look like morning coffee in your own kitchen, helping your grandkids with homework, or discovering new hobbies with people who energize you. Aging well isn't about just getting by. It's about thriving, even as your needs change. So take a moment. Which of these options made you pause? Which one made you think, "That's me"? Because the next chapter is still your chapter to write. If you found value in this video, we'd love to hear from you. Share in the comments which living arrangement speaks to you the most and why. Your experience might inspire someone else who's facing the same questions. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We're here to bring you practical, empowering insights designed especially for this stage of life. Hit the bell so you never miss a chance to learn something new about living well, at every age. Thank you for watching, and remember, just because you're getting older doesn't mean you stop having choices. In fact, now might be the perfect time to start making the ones that truly matter.